What's going on, everybody? Steelers training camp rewind here from Latrobe. Day 3 done. Packed house here on Saturday for the first of 2 weekend practices this weekend. And folks, wow, it was a hot one today. You know, those 10:30 practices have taken away some of the heat factor. Not today. It was about 88, but it felt a little bit around 93, and there is absolutely no shade out there on that football field, so you feel every bit of it. All of us standing out there, we were sweating. The players were even doing that more so, and they felt it, and you could see it. So that's a little bit of some conditions that Mike Tomlin will like. But I want to talk about a few takeaways today. The biggest one being, guys, Roman Wilson is coming on. I mean, extremely strongly right now. The last 2 days have been the best 2 practices. I saw him all spring. The best 2 practices that Roman Wilson has put up in his young NFL career. He's catching everything. He's creating separation on a various amounts of routes, both from the slot and outside. He won on crossers. He won on digs. He won on drags. He won on outs. He won on a great slot fade about 20, 30 yards downfield over Beanie Bishop on the very first play of the team period. He's coming on strong, and you can see him. He's starting to get a little bit more comfortable, and so that's really promising to see from Roman Wilson. This team needs wide receiver help and needs someone to step up. Him stepping up would be extremely huge. Heard from George Pickins today. You've heard all the Zach Azzani commentary. Talked to him about that. Said, you know, he coaches very hard. He's very demanding. Likened it to kind of having Kirby Smart back to when he was at Georgia. No hard feelings left from that incident that you heard about on the first day. So we'll see how that develops. It seems like George Pickins is taking to the challenge. He wants to take another step this year in his route running and releases. We'll see if he can do that. If he can do that, folks, he could be really special. Van Jefferson also talked today. Talked a little bit about his routine. Felt he got a little complacent over the last 2 years in Los Angeles and Atlanta. Those were his 2 least productive years. He had a great year in 2021. But, you know, he was working extremely hard those first 2 years in the NFL, and then felt like he kind of made it. Maybe fell off. Now he's catching 300 passes every day after practice. You know where he got that from? Antonio Brown did that. Heard it from one of the equipment guys, and he's implementing it into his game. So credit to him. You know, he's catching everything too. So he's getting open a decent bit. Van Jefferson's been solid. I'm not sure he's going to be the wide receiver 2, but he certainly can be a productive member of this room. I talked to Larry Ogunjobe one-on-one as well. Wanted to kind of get some perspective on Larry Ogunjobe. I think he's one of the more underratedly important guys on this defense. You know, could he have some upside still? You saw him back in Cleveland, Cincinnati when he was awesome. Last 2 years in Pittsburgh have been kind of up and down. He's been on the injury report a lot, whether that's been with a foot injury or a knee injury. Told me this is the first offseason where he really, just since 2020, where he's been able to kind of just work and train. He's changed his training regimen a little bit as he's gotten older. He feels better. He said the Liz Frank injury, it takes about 2 full years. So this is the best his foot throughout those last 2 years would hurt just throughout the week, just playing this much. He says now he feels as explosive as he ever has. So we'll see if he can be someone that kind of sticks out. Other standouts today, I thought Darius Rush had a really nice day on the defensive side of the ball. He had 2 or 3 pass breakups. He's having a really nice day. I like to see some of these edge rushers, man, speed rush off the edge. Some of these outside linebacker 4 guys, you know, Kyron Johnson, Jeremiah Moon, Nick Herbig had a few today. Those guys are looking good. That's going to be a fun competition to watch. Patrick Queen was out flying around with his closing speed, trash talking a little bit. You can see what he brings to the table. And the one other kind of big takeaway that I had today was, even though it wasn't intentional because Broderick Jones left for a few plays in team period and eventually returned, Troy Fautanu did get first-team reps. So he's going against Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt and Nick Herbig all day. He stood up pretty well. Again, there's no pads on, so take that with a grain of salt. But he was at his spots. You know how explosive those guys were. They weren't beating him around the corner. He was impressive today. I thought this was Troy Fautanu's best day at camp. So something to watch moving forward. Folks, we'll be back here tomorrow talking more from Steelers training camp. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for listening.